tweeted out this weekend, expect a major announcement in the coming days regarding our efforts to identify the thug who threatened Miss Clifford, Stormy Daniels, in Las Vegas in 2011 to leave Trump alone while making reference to her little girl. You can run, but you can't hide. Hashtag thug search, serious consequences, basta. So, care to tell us what your major announcement is in terms of searching for this person?
So my client sat down with Lois Gibson. She's the foremost forensic artist in the world. She has the Guinness. She has a world record for the number of IDs. A composite sketch has been produced. We're going to be releasing that tomorrow, along with a significant reward, asking that the public come forward. We are very close to identifying this individual.
You are.
We are.
You have a composite sketch, and you think you know who this person is.
We are very close. We need some assistance from the public. We're going to offer a significant reward to get us over the goal line, and I'm confident that we're going to get there.
And can you tell us if people will recognize this individual, since you have implied before that you think that Michael Cohen was behind it?
Well, we certainly hope that people are going to recognize the individual and are going to come forward with information.
Have you shared it with the police?
I'm not going to answer that.
Can you show us the composite picture right now?
Not right now.
So you're doing this tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
And do you still, now that you have a composite, do you still believe that it was sent by someone connected to Donald Trump?
Here's what I'll say. It could have only come from one of three places. My client, meaning she threatened herself, which makes no sense. In Touch magazine, which makes no sense, because why would they threaten my client relating to the publication of an interview in their own magazine, or someone associated with Trump or the Trump organization? We think it's pretty clear where it came from.
They have said that they don't believe that this actually happened.
Well, they've said a lot of things.
I mean, but is there security camera video? Is there anything else other than Stormy Daniels' word?
Well, I think there is significant evidence that this actually happened. We're going to release that in the coming weeks. And I'm also confident that when we release this sketch tomorrow and when we offer this sizable reward, someone is going to come forward and is going to tighten the noose, if you will, on this issue.
How much is the reward?
I'm not going to tell you.
But are police working with you on this?
Again, I'm not going to answer that right now.
You're going to say all this tomorrow?
Yes.
So I'm going to have you back on TV tomorrow?
No, not necessarily. I mean, you folks promo pieces all the time, right?
This is a tease. We're familiar with the tease.
Yes.
And you have mastered this.
It's really not about the tease. It's about being strategic in what we're doing. We filed our motion yesterday to depose the president, Mr. Cohen. Today, we're going to oppose the motion to compel arbitration. There's going to be significant information that's going to come out in connection with that. Tomorrow, we're going to release the composite sketch and the reward.
Okay. Michael Avenatti, we appreciate you telling us all of that. We will stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Good to see you.
She meets some guy in a parking lot, threatens her. He's been saying it was Michael Cohen this entire time. That's a complete lie. It's an utter fiction, and that in and of itself is defamatory. To say that was Michael Cohen or someone sent by Michael Cohen, you know what the answer is? I know you're looking for the answer as to who sent that person. It's a figment of her imagination. That person doesn't exist. Because you know why? You know why? Because when you're threatened with your daughter in a parking garage, what's the first thing that you think of? I got to go to my Pilates class. That's the very first thing that I think of when someone comes up to me and threatens me with my daughter. Anyone who has a daughter knows you go right to the police.
She was scared and she walked into the room.
Right, that's why you go to the police.
To the notion that he's saying that it's defamatory.
Yeah,
The American people saw last night something that they haven't seen from Michael Cohen. They actually saw my client answer questions by a world-renowned journalist who asked tough questions. She sat in an interview for 2 hours or thereabouts, and she faced the tough questions, and she answered them. And the American people saw those answers, saw how she answered the questions, and I think 90% of America...
90%?
You alleged that there was a physical threat made against your client, Stormy Daniels. Why didn't you include that in your legal filings thus far?
Ari, I didn't allege that. I stated it as a fact. And I'm going to state it again today as a fact. It is not an allegation.
That's well put. I want to ask you about another aspect of this that is in your papers, so it's something you already have put out. I'll read to the viewers here that they talk about in here, Mr. Trump aware of these tactics at all times. Mr. Trump has been fully aware, you allege. Does that mean you have evidence or reason to believe he was aware of the threat against Ms. Daniels?
Yes.
And what does that say to you?
Well, I think it's serious. I mean, there's no question that it's serious.
You think this threat to her was made on Donald Trump's authority?
Again, I don't want to get into the details and my opinion of this threat. We're going to let the American people judge for themselves as to what happened and judge for themselves as to what my client says and her credibility. Ari, we've been consistent from day one, and you know this, and your viewers know this. Our position is as follows. My client should be permitted to tell her story. To the extent that Mr. Cohen and President Trump have an alternative narrative or a different version of the facts, they should come forward. They should tell their version of those facts, and we should let the American people decide on who is shooting straight.
Supplying that picture,
Well,
that
that's not the last
fabricated
one.
picture.
That's not the last picture.
Oh yeah, where is it?
Buckle up.
Where is it? Where's the
Anderson,
CD? I should buckle up.
Buckle up.
Believe me, I have nothing to buckle up.
Buckle up. You'll need a big one. But
Oh
buckle
yeah.
up.
Oh yeah.
All right, now.
So she knows how he looks. Have you shown her pictures of people that have worked for Donald Trump? Has she identified the person that made the threat to you?
She has not identified the person as of yet. We're in the process of trying to conclude exactly who that was. I'm confident we're going to get to the bottom of it. There's no question that it could have only come from one place. I mean, it certainly didn't come from the magazine, and it certainly didn't come from her. So there's only one other party involved in this, and that's the Trump organization.
Will you seek phone records from the Trump organization to try to figure out if some of Donald Trump's associates were making calls to Las Vegas that week?
Well, we're going to seek all kinds of records relating to this from them, no doubt.
Hey, Michael, let me ask you a couple follow-ups. One on the alleged threat. She got a good look at the man. I assume it was a man. She got a good look at the man, and she can identify features of that man?
Yes, and in fact, what she has said, and this was cut out, I'll share this with you, that initially when she first saw him, she was taken by how attractive he was, and she was taken by how attractive he was, and she immediately remembered what he looked like, and then of course this threat happened and terrified her. But I mean, that's what she would say if she was sitting here.
Yeah.
She's very credible on this.
Right. So she remembers him, says she could remember him today if she saw him. She didn't go to the police, though, before because she said she feared for her well-being, correct?
Correct.
Have you taken her to the police since? Since we're where we are now, it would make sense for her to actually go to the Clark County Police and file a complaint now. Has she been taken there since?
I'm not at liberty to discuss who we've discussed it with in law enforcement, if anyone, at this juncture.
But would it not make sense, though, that if she were threatened to go to the Las Vegas police or the Clark County Police and file a complaint that her life was threatened?
It might.
Well, let me ask you one other question.
Wait, no, hold on a second.
Sorry,
why wouldn't it? Just let's just talk generally, not this case, but why would somebody not want to go to the police when their life is threatened?
Well, I'll tell you, when you have a pending civil case, sometimes you don't want to involve law enforcement, because if law enforcement launches an investigation, then witnesses start claiming the Fifth Amendment, and in fact, the opposing party can seek a stay in the civil case, and so the case can go what they call in the icebox. The case could be delayed a year or 2 or 3 years while that investigation goes place. So that's one example of why you might want to do that, and there's others from a legal perspective, Joe.
Sat down with a forensic artist, a very well-known one, who created a sketch of the alleged suspect based on your memory from that day. And now you're ready to reveal that sketch for the first time. Can we take a look at that with you?
Oh. There you go.
And to your recollection, is that the person that threatened you?
Absolutely.
Looks exactly like that person?
Stormy, why did you feel like you couldn't go to the police originally when you were threatened?
Well, two things. First of all, I was scared. It was expressly what he told me not to do. And I went home and regrouped and I was going to, because I always feel like you should stand up for yourself and you should report it. But the problem with that in this particular instance I would have gone to the police and would have gone, okay, a man approached me. This is what he said to me. He told me to leave, leave Mr. Trump alone. And their very next question, the detective would have asked me, why would somebody tell you to leave Mr. Trump alone? And I would have had to answer that question, which was not public at the time. And I would have had to tell an entire police department, and police reports are public record. I know that for a fact. I had sex with Donald Trump. And then the whole world would have known, and I was in the process of trying to quiet that or figure out what to do. And honestly, I was just afraid, and I didn't want everyone to know. I didn't want my family to find out that way. I didn't want my life turned upside down.
When you were speaking to news organizations, though, and Michael, maybe you can talk to this too, including ABC, you never brought up the threat. So why now?
Because I knew I would be asked the question that you were asked. You just asked me, like, why didn't you say anything? And I did tell quite a few people, actually, from back then. And
who did you tell?
I told family members and 2 friends and people that I worked with.
And I mean, it's obvious she just didn't sit down with this sketch artist and, fabricate this. I mean, this is a very detailed sketch, and it was created by a woman by the name of Lois Gibson. She has the world record for the most identifications. She works with the FBI and law enforcement all around the country, and she found Stormy to be very credible and is highly confident in the sketch, and we hope that it's going to result in
awe of your memory. All right, so they released the sketch just now, and they're also, I'm being told, they're offering a $100,000 reward, Stormy Daniels, her attorney, for anyone who can positively identify this man in the sketch.